30 for 30 library, streaming exclusively on ESPN Plus. Sign up now at ESPNplus.com or get the Disney bundle, including Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus to stream the best movies, shows, and sports.
After days and days, been waiting. We are finally ready to start this game. Hurts. He's heading for the touchdown. Kelsey over the shoulder. He's got the touchdown. He's looking deep. The ball's out. It's picked up by Kansas City. Touchdown. I promise you, Hurts will not think about that at all. Hurts is going to run and score. He'll scramble, but he's ankle tackled, and he's hurt. Mahomes is hurt. Patrick Mahomes showing that toughness. Oh, stop it! He walked into the end zone. Wide open, scramble. He's got Devontae Smith. They push, they sneak, they have to go for two. And he is in every time. Don't underestimate how tough Patrick Mahomes is. There's a pebbling flying throw. This does not look good. Slide down at the one. Very smart inbound. 11 seconds left. The kick is good. The Chiefs Kingdom will raise a banner above the National Football League again.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, ESPN Radio. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. And Patrick Mahomes has done it. Andy Reid. You heard Andy Reid give Eric Bieniemy his props. Travis Kelce. I mean, are we looking at the greatest quarterback tight end combination ever? What about, is he going to wind up being the greatest quarterback? Is that already the greatest tight end ever? Like, what about the Eagles? If you're an Eagles fan right now, you feel like you've been cheated out of the Super Bowl? Too bad there's not a lot to talk about this morning, guys.
Mornings.
Good morning. Good morning.
You guys look refreshed. You must have went to bed really early.
Oh, yeah.
I saw the Riri halftime. The whole time I'm thinking about tweeting. I feel like she's pregnant. I'm not sure. I'm not going to tweet it. Nope. Not going to be the one. Not going to catch me. And it was confirmed.
Because there wasn't a lot of movement.
It wasn't a lot, not going to be that guy.
Yeah. Boy, she's got a lot of hits, doesn't she? When she starts going through the catalog.
It wasn't
a lot of movement.
It's one of the dopest halftime performances I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good halftime performance. You know.
All right. Yeah.
It was not bad. I couldn't.
You weren't on it?
No, I was watching it, but you're trying to watch it and people talking and it's like a whole thing.
You got a party. That's why you got to watch it from the couch at the crib.
No, it's all good. It's all good. We had a good time. So, watched the game, had a good time, got a chance to see the Eagles almost win and the Chiefs pull off a miracle, so to speak, comeback. A lot of
It wasn't a lot of movement. It's one of the dopest halftime performances I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good halftime performance.
All right. Yeah.
It was not bad. I couldn't.
You weren't on it?
No, I was watching it, but you're trying to watch it and people talking and it's like a whole thing.
You got a party. That's why you got to watch it from the couch at the crib.
No, it's all good. It's all good. We had a good time. So, watched the game, had a good time, got a chance to see the Eagles almost win and the Chiefs pull off a miracle, so to speak, comeback. A lot of smart things happened in that football game, including the slide down right before the field goal. That was impressive. The mindset to know, okay, let me not try to be a hero, because they actually tried to let him score. But he was like, nah, we're not getting ready to do this.
I wonder how much higher the win percentage in that situation is if you don't score, if you do. Because if you punch it in and you wind up 7, then they got to score a touchdown. And to win, they got to go for the extra point. And if not, or the 2-point conversion, and even to tie, like the odds are not. I wonder if the odds are over 50-50.
We're not even doing that.
We're not even doing that. Remember, they scored a touchdown and came back and won? Yeah.
Yeah, no,
we don't even need that.
What I'm saying is a lot of the stuff that people complain about, you don't know the outcome. Well, it's a heads-up play. I guess. I guess it is super. No, I know it's what you're supposed to do. I just wonder how much higher your chances of winning are in that moment by doing that.
We can play that game in the regular season, not in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right. You would. Yeah, but You still, well, that's right. With 8 seconds left, the odds are extremely low you're going to score. How did a hobbled Patrick Mahomes lead the Chiefs to a comeback win? Here is Patrick Mahomes at the post-game presser.
I felt really good until I kind of aggravated it a little bit, but it was. I mean, you're in the Super Bowl. You can worry about getting it healthy in the off season. So I just kind of fought through, and we were able to win the game.
The thing about this dude is he has the intangible. I never got the sense like he's trying to show me how much it hurts, to tell you the truth. I got the sense like he was trying to play through, an injury. That's all. And Key, how did you feel about it?
Well, I mean, once, he got, that was a nasty, nasty twist and grab. And, that thing got caught underneath. You certainly was going to, like I said before, whenever you get that jolt, it's going to feel a certain way. Remember 2-3 weeks ago when he played, it was like, as long as nobody doesn't hit it or grab it, and that he'll be fine as soon as somebody does that, because it's still sore. It's still bruised. And so it's just a little bit of, and then it calms down. And Jay knows this, when you have an injury and somebody hits directly on an injury, you're going to feel that sharp pain. But once it calms down, you'll be fine.
See, I truly believe that 30-minute halftime had to help him in a massive way, right? Regardless of whatever happened back there, he get a little shot, take away the pain. But for him to come out and play after 30 minutes of all the performances of Rihanna and all that, look, people can sit there and talk about James Bradbury and the PI call all day long. But realistically, if you're an Eagles fan, right, Jalen Hurts fumbled the ball in the first half, led to a score. Right? You talk about special teams, the blunder for Kadarius Toney at the end of the game, like that was really hurtful. And then your defense allowed the touchdown on every possession in the second half. Like that defense against a hobbled Patrick Mahomes, like those are three things that you sit back and you say, this is a game of inches. If we're better at those three things, we probably win the game.
Mahomes played extremely well in the second half, though. He beat the defense. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Eric Bieniemy, Travis Kelce, Kadarius Toney on the return. Like they beat the Eagles.
Max Kellerman, you're hard-headed.
Because
I want you to listen. When you're 21 or 27, barely 200 yards, no turnovers, and 3 touchdowns, you'll probably win the game,
probably
right?
going to win the game. You know what the difference in the game was? Key is 100% right. The difference in the game is turnovers. That's what it comes down to, right? It's the turnovers. One team protected the ball a little better than the other team, and the calls, they seemed to go. It was a ticky. You refer to the Bradbury call at the end of the game. It was a ticky-tack call.
No, it was ticky-tack.
It was ticky-tack. And by the way, but even if that doesn't necessarily, it decides the game in the negative for the Eagles. But even if if the call doesn't go against them, the Eagles might still lose that game. It's not like at that point.
Well, maybe, but it went against him. So therefore, they wind up losing the football game.
They're still going to be down 3 points. They're just going to have a chance to come back and score. But even if they come back and score, the likelihood is Patrick Mahomes has a little time left on the clock, and we know how that usually goes.
It's just so ridiculous that they would call that.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is egregious that they would call that in that spot, in that situation, given the fact that he wasn't going, that ball, he wasn't going to, Juju was not catching up to that pass.
Exactly.
Yeah, it didn't affect
he wasn't. Tyreek Hill was, Devontae Smith was, Randy Moss is, Hussein Bolton, he would catch up to it. He wasn't catching that pass. That pass was, as they say, uncatchable. But they wound up calling it, and there was the outcome of the game.
Well,
then again,
I'd be mad if I was an Eagles fan.
Of course
I'd
you
be
would
mad. Yeah.
Well, by the way, I mean, I don't know how fans feel about it, but I know as a former player, there's a lot that goes into the experience. We always talk about act like you've been in a limo before. Andy Reid, though, making those halftime adjustments, like there was a masterclass in the second half between him and Eric Bieniemy. I mean, the touchdown passes they got to Sky Moore and to Kadarius Toney, those guys were wide open. They were butt naked, Key. It was like, I don't know if he's picked that defense apart in the second half, but the offense came way too easy for Patrick Mahomes.
Well, you see things in the first half and you go back at halftime and you say, we're going to get back to this because he was open on this, he was open on that. Let's get back to it when we're in this situation again. Let's run this play. Because in the first half, they run the same type of play. Only that time, they didn't go to the receivers. They went to other positions. And then the second half, at halftime, he let them know, we're going to do it again. And this time, if he's open, hit him. that's what the adjustments are.
You know, the Super Bowl when we were kids was not a good game. It was usually a lopsided game, right? And it was an event. It was a holiday, but it was, and at a certain point.
So why am I at work then if it was a holiday?
Well, at a certain, well, right, yeah, but
cover
yes,
the sport.
at a certain point, the Super Bowl got awesome, right? Like that was another awesome Super Bowl. It was close. It was dramatic. Your heart's going fast at the end. It didn't used to be that way. Most Super Bowls were not like that.
No, I would say the ones that I remember watching, the Giants, the field goal, the Bills.
That's when it started, Key. But before that, if you go before that, usually the Super Bowl going in, you knew there was a big favorite. Like I did, even the Giants' first one against Elway and the Broncos going in, it's like, oh, here comes the Giants and that defense. The Bears in '85 against the Patriots.
Yeah,
Patriots about
Bears
to catch it,
in
right?
'85. I don't even think I finished the first quarter of that one.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is how, and then at a certain point, right around maybe Super Bowl 20, whatever, 5 or whatever it was, they started getting great. This is a great game yesterday. It's a great game. It was dramatic, close.
Well, our Super Bowl was a bit of a blowout, though.
Yeah, well,
Ours
you were on an
became-
all-time great team. Usually that's not the case where you have a team that dominant, right? It was a great game. It was hard for me to go to sleep after.
I don't know
It was
about
late.
I mean, I hope nobody had any questions about Jalen Hurts because he single-handedly kept this team in the game, man.
He was
I mean,
had a
it
great
was-
game.
He
It was-
did what he's been doing all year long.
I know, but yeah, he
Yeah,
has.
the
But
biggest
this
stage,
was on a bigger stage.
Yeah.
He played his tail off, and even the way he responded after the fumble by coming back the next possession and scoring that next drive, like there's no question about what his dominance is within the NFL.
When
ranks.
you see him on a quarterback sneak, it's like you hear Al Pacino in that bad speech in Any Given Sunday, right? We fight for every inch or whatever it is. Jalen Hurts on those sneaks, it looks like they got him stopped. Nope, here comes the second, third, fourth effort. His will in the moment of truth is intense.
Dude,
right?
bench press 600 pounds.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
squat
stupid,
600
man.
pounds.
But you can be
man.
physically
stopping
strong.
nobody
He
fourth
has
and
a
one with
will
him.
to win. He has a will to win. And that's why he almost won the Super Bowl, like Joe Burrow last year.
You think they're gonna stop that key one time, like eventually next year, like the whole rugby style pile on 4th and 1, like the way they're doing it? All that
No,
stuff.
the
Really?
push? Nah.
You don't think so?
Yeah, man.
You mean from the league standpoint?
Yes.
No, because I don't think that there's going to be enough general managers and head coaches complaining because they're going to use it too. So
Yeah, man,
I don't
that
think
dude,
usually
it's unstoppable.
you get the people on the competition committee. They're the ones getting all the complaints from the coaches and general managers about what the rules are, that sort of stuff. But I don't think that'll be the case because
Listen, guys.
all he's doing, they're all bunched up and they just push
no,
it.
I hear you.
We have a lot
You know?
to get into today. And that actually is not one of those things. Here's the things we got to get into. What happened to that Eagles defense? Is it as good as advertised? Did the referees cost the Eagles the Super Bowl? What does this game mean for Patrick Mahomes' legacy?
Uh-oh.
Where
How
is
much-
he among the all-time
Uh-oh.
greats? And by the way, where does Jalen Hurts now rank in the hierarchy of NFL quarterbacks?
And how much tequila did Jay drink yesterday?
Naturally, that should be the lead. Keyshawn,
what kind did he
Max.
What
drink?
kind? Yeah, I got yelled at.
888 say ESPN, and we want to hear from you. ESPN Radio.
The Chiefs are champions of Super Bowl 57.
I told y'all at the beginning of the week, there's nothing that's going to keep me off that football field.
It's the best feeling in the world, man.
Everything we worked for is for this moment. You have to enjoy this moment. I mean, if there was any doubters left, there shouldn't be now.
This is Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching a kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, NA member FDIC.
Mornings with DiPietro and Rothenberg.
You know what's amazing, though, with this whole Kevin Durant thing is he left the absolute perfect situation because he wasn't getting the credit he wants. But there was still that question. Could KD go to a team where it's his team and win a championship? Well, you just got a chance to see it.
I guess the answer is no.
That's it. It's him recognizing that he can't do it and how this affects his legacy moving forward, depending on what happens this season and for the rest of his career. This was his opportunity, and he made the mistake of he hitched wagon to Kyrie.
DiPietro and Rothenberg. Morning 6 to 10 on 98.7 ESPN.
Hey, do you suffer with pain in your neck, back, or nerve pain? Well, it's time to see my friend Dr. Jay Shah. He's a double board certified Ivy League trained pain specialist, trained in all the latest leading edge procedures to treat your pain. He'll treat your pain by using the latest and most advanced technology. No scars, no cuts, no incisions. This is what you want and need. All procedures are same day with little to no downtime. Visit Soundwell Institute for Pain and book your appointment online at soundwellpain.com. If you're in need of a second opinion for your neck, your back, sciatica, neuropathy, and migraine pain, call Soundwell Institute for Pain. All non-surgical procedures are performed with state-of-the-art live imaging for accuracy and safety. Soundwell has 2 convenient locations in Livingston and Woodbridge, New Jersey. You can text them or book an appointment online or call 732-276-2494. That's 732-276-2494 or visit soundwellpain.com to start living a pain-free life. Don't delay. Make your appointment now and get rid of your pain.
And now a small business setback. Set to smooth jazz.
It's late. You're driving in the rain with only one thing on your mind. The deer about to total your HVAC van. But with Progressive's 30-plus customizable coverage options, you're covered. The rest is just saxophone.
When running your small business gets rough, Progressive Commercial is there to smooth it out. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Twig this sound.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage and discounts not available for all vehicles or states. Policy terms and conditions
The
apply.
biggest names, the biggest games. They're all right here. This is 1050 ESPN, New York.
The Chiefs are champions of Super Bowl 57.
You're in the Super Bowl. You can worry about getting it healthy in the off season. So I just kind of fought through, and we were able to win the game.
It's the best feeling in the world, man. And I'll tell you what, I don't know how many I got left, but I'm sure going to cherish this one forever.
Everything we worked for is for this moment. You have to enjoy this moment. You can't let the moment overtake you.
I wanted this one more than I ever wanted a game ever in my life.
I mean, if there was any doubters left, there shouldn't be now.
Keyshawn, J. Will and Max, ESPN Radio. Tell you what, I thought the Eagles were going to win handily, and nothing. It's not that I don't believe in Mahomes and Reed and Kelsey and these guys. It's that the Eagles were beating the brakes off teams all year, but they were also not a great second half of games team. I just assumed they were up so much they took the foot off the gas, but maybe it was something else because they once again were outplayed.
But it was a good game, though, man. It was
real good game.
It was such a good game. It wasn't like it was just it was like a lopsided game. It was so good, back and forward.
Yeah,
tie scores, back and forward, back and forward. It was such a good game.
It was such a good game. In a tradition of great Super Bowls.
I do feel like right before the half, though, if they had called that a catch by Devontae Smith, like the difference between going into the locker room with all that momentum being up 14 as opposed to 10 and settling for a field goal, it could have been.
Was it a catch, Key?
But see, the difference is, Jay, this is not a regular season game because of the 30-minute, the halftime, however long that whole deal's put together. That momentum that you would have doesn't really matter because you're sitting around now for 35 minutes. So it becomes like a moot point at that position.
I want to get into the Bradbury thing at the end of the game, but first, was that a catch by Devontae Smith?
In real live action, as soon as it happened, I said, "Oh, he dropped that." The body position and the way his hands kind of dropped down, you could kind of see, oh, that ball's slipping out. You could see it, and then he rolls over on his shoulder. So at that point, I'm like, well, maybe he'll block out the view of the referees, and they won't really get a full view of it. But for some reason, they was able to see whatever that it was that made them overturn it.
I mean, I'm like everyone else. What the hell is a catch nowadays? The Goddard thing that wasn't overturned, I thought that was a catch. Then I looked again. The scoop and score when Miles Sanders fumbled, I thought that was clearly a catch. He caught it. He made a move. Then he got hit and it popped out. No, he didn't need to take 15 steps before
you got to make about 3 moves.
Right, but think about that for a second.
It can't be a bang bang.
But
It can't be a bang bang.
Was there?
He has made a move.
The only way the refs can call that against
I know.
a catch on Devontae Smith was there overwhelming evidence that wasn't a catch?
Maybe not to us, but to them maybe it was overwhelming.
Or it was decisive. In other words, it was super close but decisive. And I get it, Key. They're not going to call that a catch on Miles Sanders. But to me, I don't know why. To me, that looked
because
like
he didn't get a chance. He never got a chance to really protect himself. Right, he catches the ball. As soon as he catches it,
he moves,
turns,
takes a step,
and once it boom, you got. If he would have took 2 steps and did something like that, and it's a fumble, scoop and score.
I get what the rules are, but I know what a catch looks like, and that was a catch.
Now, how the hell do you know what a catch looks like?
Well, just because I can't do it, Keith, doesn't mean I don't know what it looks like. Listen, was the real big play of the game, of course, was the Bradbury play. James Bradbury, corner, who they acquired from the Giants. The Giants had to let him go because of cap reasons. He goes with Slay and forms one of the better corner tandems in the NFL, right? Had a really good year. And at the end of the game, under 2 minutes left, commits a penalty, which seemed ticky-tack. We discussed this in the first segment, but was called a holding penalty. He was asked after the game about it. This is what he said.
I mean, that's not up for my judgment. You know, I was hoping he would let it go, but of course, you know, he's a ref. It's a big game. And it was a holding, so they called it.
So he admitted to the holding, and people jumped on that, Key. I don't think he was aware how controversial it was at that moment he was asked. I wonder if he would have said it out loud. But he did. He said it was holding. It seemed like a big moment to call that on Bradbury, and you said in the previous segment it didn't really affect the play.
Okay. What happens is all okay. So the way it looks, Jay, is it Juju's faking the shallow cross. He comes out of it. He slows him down from coming out of it. Right. That's not the initial call right there on the back end where he grabs the waist. When he tries to pivot out of it, right there, that's the hold. But what happens with a guy like Juju is he can't stop on a dime and give change, and he doesn't have sudden quickness in and out of his break. So it looks like, to the referee's eyes, it slowed him down.
That's interesting.
It's almost like a Shaq thing in basketball, LeBron thing in basketball. He's fouled, but it doesn't affect his ability, so they don't call it. In this situation, because of Juju's style,
that's interesting.
They look at it and they go, well, no, that didn't really. If that would have happened, Juju wouldn't have came out of it and caught up to that pass anyway. So, even if he didn't touch it.
That's what I was going to ask you on the back end. Wasn't that an uncatchable ball?
Absolutely.
So does the ball have to be uncatchable?
Juju what he is saying is it pays to be sorry sometimes, is what he is saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying his style is not in and out of the break with sudden quickness.
Like Tyreek Hill would be different.
Tyreek Hill would have came out of that and caught up to that pass. Juju, regardless, if they would have let him just run down the field by himself without even touching him, he probably wouldn't have caught up to the pass. The refs aren't looking at it being uncatchable. Because the flag happened at the point of attack right there. It didn't happen down the field.
People want to weigh in on this. Let's start, before we get to the calls, with Nick Sirianni, Eagles head coach, on the PI call against James Bradbury. Under 2 minutes left, effectively ended the game.
It's not my job to, I mean, you'll see me on the sideline. I'm going to argue with different things of calls here and there, but it's not my job to make the call. Those guys got to do that in split second, scenarios. And so, that's what he saw and he called it. And so that's never it. I know it always appears to be that it's one call that makes it's not what it is, right? It's not what it is. There's so many plays that contribute to the end result of the game. And today they were better than we were.
The Eagles taking the high road, Bradbury and coach both taking the high road, and maybe they lose that game anyway. But once that call is made, the odds of them winning are they need a miracle to win. Was that the right call, Chris, in Los Angeles?
Hey guys, for having me on. Just want to first say love the show. You guys got to lay off my boy Max. I call him the accountant. He be speaking facts, so we just got to give him some props for that. But
right, we sure do.
On the game, it was a close nip-tuck game, and I don't think you let a call like that kind of sway the odds in that way. The Eagles most likely still weren't going to finish the drive and win the game, I think. But I don't think you let the game be dictated in that way with that kind of call.
Right. Anthony in in Orlando.
You guys are awesome, by the way. I love you guys. But here, check it out. The refs need like that. Like in the last 2 minutes, you have the ability to for the NFL to review the plays. They need that for the officials because this was ticky-tack. That is not how you want to end the game. Everybody was disappointed.
Yeah, I think a lot of people agree with that.
I'm a personal believer of if it's not egregious, then you don't call it. Let the players determine the end of the game. But these are the things that kind of frustrate me sometimes about end of game scenarios. As a ticky-tack kind of penalty, you make that call. I'd rather the players finish it out on their terms.
By the way, another Super Bowl MVP for Patrick Mahomes. That makes 2 in 5 years as a starter to go with 2 regular season MVPs. They didn't all occur in the same year, by the way, even though these 2 did. What has this weekend done for Mahomes' legacy after Key has this from O'Reilly?
Okay, here we go, Jay. It's O Rewards bonus points month at O'Reilly Auto Parts, where you can get 2, 3, or even 4 times O reward points on select purchases. The bonus points can help you keep it and get it to your next reward even faster. You receive a $5 reward for every 150 O Rewards points earned. Use your reward on your next purchase. Shop and earn points to get rewarded. If you're not an O Rewards member yet, signing up is quick and easy online or in stores at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
There it is.
The Chiefs are champions of Super Bowl 57.
I told y'all at the beginning of the week, there's nothing that's going to keep me off that football field.
It's the best feeling in the world, man.
Everything we work for is for this moment. You have to enjoy this moment. I mean, if there was any doubters left, there shouldn't be now.
This is Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message data rates may apply.
Nice run. It's great being back out on the mountain. You sort of disappeared for a while. Everything okay? Between you and me, it was lower testosterone. Lower T? Yeah. The doc told me once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone, and that can make it harder to stay in shape. That's why I started taking Nugenix Total T. It's made a huge difference. Oh, I've seen that on TV. Is it for real? For sure. It's the #1 doctor-recommended testosterone booster. It boosts free and total testosterone levels to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. My wife, my boss, my kids, everyone has noticed a change in me.
Do they still give out complimentary bottles for people to try for themselves?
Yes, just send them a text.
Guys, text Hefty to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone brand at GNC and Walmart. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back in shape fast, absolutely free. Text HEFTY to 321-321. That's Hefty to 321-321.
Bring it in.
Doesn't matter.
With achy joints, 10, even 20 years. Imagine you could do this without products that just temporarily hide the symptoms and may have side effects. Imagine no more. Get your complimentary sample of Instaflex Advanced just by texting CLIP to 231231. Instaflex Advanced is different because it targets the root cause of joint soreness and stiffness. It doesn't just cover up symptoms. Instead, it bathes your joints in its unique combination of 5 key natural ingredients found in no other product. Key ingredients backed by 5 clinical studies. Instaflex Advanced is so powerful, you could have better knees in just 1 week. Maybe that's why it's #1 at GNC. But you can only get your complimentary sample by texting CLIP to 231231. Plus, text now and we'll include a tube of Instaflex pain cream with its exclusive oxygenated oil for fast-acting relief from the pain of arthritis, backaches, and sore muscles, absolutely free. Text CLIP to 231231.
The first time I remember seeing Patrick was at one of our football camps. I'd heard, hey, there's this kid coming up. His name's Patrick Mahomes. His dad's in Major League Baseball. He could throw it further than anyone.
Seeing how far he could throw, it was crazy. It was different. The first time was 7th and 8th grade, I want to say. Saw him, I was like, who is that?
Can he really throw a football 70 yards from his knees?
Yes. He could throw a ball 80, 85 yards on his feet. I mean, he just always been able to do that.
But talent alone is never a guarantee. He wasn't even guaranteed the starting job at White House High School. In September 2012, Mahomes' junior season, he was locked in a quarterback battle with childhood friend Ryan Cheatham.
They're best friends. And so I remember that year sitting down with both Ryan and Patrick and saying, the success of this team is going to be based on how you two handle this.
Texas high school football, 2 best friends competing for the starting quarterback job. I mean, it almost sounds a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sort of straight out of Central Casting. But that was the case. What was that like?
I knew I was good. I knew I could compete with anybody, but I just knew that there was something special about him. Every single pregame, me and him, we would toss, and the other teams on the other side warming up, and he would just let one go and like hit one of the wide receivers in the back of the head, and I'd be like, all right, I can't really keep up with this, I don't guess.
During the 3rd game of the season, the plan was to rotate quarterbacks at halftime. Instead, Coach Cook opted to stick with Mahomes for the entire game.
It was raining that night, and I knew in my mind this is the moment where it just takes off just because of the way he had handled it.
Fires it, caught, touchdown, White House.
But whatever it was, divine intervention, that's when we made the decision. I made the decision, hey, we're going to stay here, and we're going to let Patrick take this.
White House won that night, 38-33, with Mahomes accounting for more than 500 yards. And from that point forward, there was no looking back.
Townsend will hold it. 11 seconds left in Super Bowl 57, 35-35 tie. The kick is good, and Kansas City leads 38-35 with 8 seconds to go in regulation in Super Bowl 57.
That's how it sounded on 106.5 The Wolf as Harrison Butker kicked a 27-yard field goal with 8 seconds left to give the Kansas City Chiefs a 38-35 win over the Eagles in the Super Bowl 57. Let's not forget Butker missed a field goal earlier in the game. Chiefs won their 2nd NFL title in 4 years, and Patrick Mahomes was named Super Bowl MVP. Mahomes, playing on a bad ankle, was 21 of 27 for 182 yards and 3 TDs, and also rushed for 44 yards on that ankle, including a scramble of 26 on the go-ahead drive. Andy Reid said after the Super Bowl that he plans to coach the Chiefs again in 2023. SportsCenter is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career path with flexibility and great pay and benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. Bundle today at progressive.com.
The Chiefs are champions of Super Bowl 57.
You're in the Super Bowl. You can worry about getting it healthy in the off season. So I just kind of fought through, and we were able to win the game.
It's the best feeling in the world, man. And I'll tell you what, I don't know how many I got left, but I'm sure going to cherish this one forever.
Everything we worked for is for this moment. You have to enjoy this moment. You can't let the moment overtake you.
I wanted this one more than I ever wanted a game ever in my life.
I mean, if there was any doubters left, there shouldn't be now.
Keyshawn, J. Willimax, ESPN Radio, ESPN 2 till 8 a.m., ESPNU till 10 a.m., Sirius XM Channel 80 and the ESPN app. Click more on the lower right-hand corner of the app. Scroll down to live radio, and you can listen to us live wherever you go. and we are presented by Progressive Insurance. Guys, we'll have to see what happens in Trevor Lawrence's career, and I know quarterbacks play defenses and not the other quarterback. However, when you look at Mahomes, who lost Tyreek Hill in the offseason, and Tyreek Hill might have been the offensive player of the year in the NFL, right? Like, he had an incredible season. You look at Mahomes in these playoffs, he went through Trevor Lawrence. Let's see what happens in his career, but it might look very good one day. Joe Burrow, who is, that dude and who had his number until then, was 3-0 against him, including the AFC Championship game at Arrowhead. They were calling it Burrowhead last year. And then Jalen Hurts, who was his rival for MVP this year, on the way to the Super Bowl win, and he did it, on a bad ankle last couple games. He's the third player in NFL, NBA, NHL, or Major League Baseball history to win multiple regular season MVPs and multiple championship round MVPs within their first 6 seasons. He joins Bobby Orr and Tim Duncan. I just want to mention one thing, though. What happens to that stat when you make it the first 5 seasons? Because Bobby Orr may not have played as much as he did later on, but he still got minutes and got into games. Tim Duncan was a starter right away. Patrick Mahomes didn't play his first year. He played 1 game as a rookie. So really, it's not fair to compare 6 to 6. It's not apples to apples. It's really 5. He did it in his first 5 seasons as a guy who actually played. It's insane. He won the regular season MVP this year. He won the Super Bowl MVP. He led the NFL in passing touchdowns. He led the NFL in passing yards. Only 3 players have done that in their whole career. Tom Brady, who's the GOAT, Joe Montana, who he replaced on most lists by outlasting him, right? And Peyton Manning, who's the greatest regular season player, arguably, in his prime ever. I mean, what Mahomes did in 1 season, guys. So it's his 5th year as a starter. MVP. He led the NFL in passing touchdowns. He led the NFL in passing yards. Only 3 players have done that in their whole career. Tom Brady, who's the GOAT, Joe Montana, who he replaced on most lists by outlasting him, right? And Peyton Manning, who's the greatest regular season player, arguably, in his prime ever. I mean, what Mahomes did in 1 season, guys. So it's his 5th year as a starter. Anyone have any thoughts about this? Because I'll tell you what I think.
I know you're going to answer something. You seem like you were very passionately delivering.
I will tell you
a good soliloquy here.
I will tell you what I think, and I've said this before. To call someone the Michael Jordan of the sport does not mean merely that they have the best numbers or they lasted the longest and racked up the most championships or led the league in scoring or anything like that. It means you start by looking at them and going, oh, my God, I don't know if I've ever seen something quite like that. Of course, it's based on stuff that came before them, George Gervin and Dr. J and Michael Jordan. But Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, these guys, but, oh, wait, this is different. Then you look at the numbers, you go, oh, hold on, this is different. And then you look at team success and you go, oh, he wins more than anyone else.
The numbers and the team success are better than Michael Jordan's first 5 years with the They're better.
Maybe not the numbers, but yeah.
Hey, Max, just cave in. It's okay. It's fine.
I think
Patrick Mahomes is on his way to being something special. If he would have lost this game, it would be a different conversation the day after the Super Bowl on a Monday. But he won the game.
And how
so
did he
now
win the
when
games?
you look at Patrick Mahomes' first 6 seasons as a starting quarterback in the National Football League, he's one above Tom Brady and a couple above Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson, and Ben Roethlisberger. So it's pretty good company there at the quarterback spot. In his first most playoff wins in his first 6 seasons in the National Football League.
You see,
that's big time.
Where I start leaning with Patrick Mahomes now that he's cementing the resume is that he's becoming more and more to me like the greatest quarterback to ever live, right? And the reason why I would say that is I'm not a
Kansas City Chiefs are winning these Super Bowls because of the style of play with Eric Bieniemy, Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes. They're winning Super Bowls and getting there because of this. Now, when you look at the Super Bowl statistically in this particular game, he was only 21 of 27 for 182 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not large statistically, but very efficient. And when you are very efficient and you do the things that he did, like Tom Brady did in the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs, he had numbers very similar to these. Very efficient.